When you were mentioning the team allocation element, I was wondering if you could just give a little bit of an illustration of what that mutual determination process looked like. Are there any kind of mechanics in place to help people determine the team fit? Can you just give us a little bit more info there?
Yeah, and again, this is where we talked about the process, which is you need someone to make sure that this entire process is going to be set up. And so we have uh, dedicated people that make sure this works well, which is, hey, what are the highest priority teams, and then how do people express their preferences, and how do we make sure that the match is good both ways. We do have a whole kind of process that's built out, and what happens on the fifth day that somebody's here, and how do they learn about the teams, how do they meet with some people, how do they put in their preferences, and then how do they understand kind of the team that makes most sense.
That's great. That's why I see, like, internally, there's a determination of which teams are highest priority in that moment of that onboarding, and then there's a little bit of the how are people learning about the teams, and so are you doing is it like presentations or teams kind of presenting, "Here are the problems we're working on," and, like, this is, like, what's to come in the next 3 to 6 months? Or well, I guess is what's that process look like?
Yeah, and by the way, it also keeps evolving, because what you can find is, if you start these presentations, then people can get inundated with like being in like a few hours of
Oh,
presentations. And so,
yeah.
I think that even here it's very important to like you do something, but then you get feedback, and like, okay, is this actually still working, 2 months later? But
Yeah.
yeah, our process is that engineers get to hear from teams, and we do time box it.
Just be very cautious about how much information gets shared at once. I really admire that, I guess, being cognizant of information overload in that moment, because you're starting a new job, and it's, like, totally overwhelming.